You have to have noticed by now that everything is basically bullshit, right? The press conference, the press events, the White House, they're always bullshit. That no one, anywhere, ever, at any time is going to be honest about their job and what they do and what's happening to them. You're going to get like an iota of truth, like a tiny little morsel. So we're seeing this story, this is from BuzzFeed News. The White House banned a reporter from a press conference after she asked Trump questions. CNN's Caitlin Collins has called out questions to the president during a photo op, a normal part of covering the White House. Right. Okay, you'll often see when the president walks by, or just anybody really, a celebrity, reporters will start yelling questions. Sometimes they answer. Sometimes they do. These people, when it comes to the red carpet and celebrities, when it comes to going to the White House, it's access journalism. That's what it's called. What does that mean? It means because you're a trusted person who's going to paint this person in a favorable light, they will grant you access. That's about it. So when the White House correspondents go to, actually, let me start here. This woman's been banned, okay? And everyone's rallying to her defense, saying this is ridiculous, the White House should not have banned her. Yes, technically they shouldn't have done that. But what do you get out of asking questions of the spokesperson or the White House anyway? They're gonna give you canned responses. I never understood this, like CNN would come on and they'd be like, oh, they're having a press event at the White House again. They're making a statement, and so what? They're gonna give us some bullshit again? Yeah, and I'm not saying this to like single out the Trump administration. Literally everybody is full of shit. They're lying all the time. You think like, Verizon, when they get called out for some scandal, they're gonna put out the truth? No, they're gonna try and mitigate the damage. They're gonna lie. I would be damn surprised if any of these people were ever telling the truth. And that's just the way the world functions, in my opinion. Because the court of public opinion is so much more dangerous than anything else. I mean, look, we function in a society, and if people don't like you, you can't function in that society. So companies will just lie. Politicians will just lie. It's literally everybody's lying. Let's see what they say here. Let's talk about how the media is full of shit and how the president and basically everybody in a public position is full of shit. A CNN reporter was denied access to a press conference held by President Donald Trump on Wednesday after she asked him questions about his former lawyer Michael Cohen and Russian President Vladimir Putin early in the day. Caitlin Collins has been acting as the network's pool reporter, a rotating role in which one journalist represents a larger group of news outlets in situations where there's limited space for media. White House pool reporters follow the president at events and, after any scheduled remarks, typically call out questions related to the day's news. Following a photo op in the Oval Office Wednesday with Trump and European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker, Collins called out several questions. Mr. President, did Michael Cohen betray you? Collins said, according to a video from the event. Other reporters can also be heard talking as White House staffer shouts, "We're done," and they have a video of it. Mr. President, are you worried about what Michael Cohen is about to say to prosecutors? Collins continued. Are you worried what's on the other tapes, Mr. President? Why has Vladimir Putin not accepted your invitation, Mr. President? Those are actually rather tepid questions, considering what's going on. I mean, Michael Cohen released these secret recordings. Putin denied refused the invitation. Trump did not respond to the questions, and Collins later told CNN she thought the photo op had been entirely normal, but when the White House announced an unscheduled press conference in the Rose Garden later Wednesday, Collins said she was called into the office of the White House Communications Director Bill Shine. Shine, a former Fox News executive, and White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders told Collins her questions were inappropriate and accused her of shouting. The reporter said she was told she could not attend the Rose Garden press conference, even though it was broadly open to journalists. Okay, we'll read on in a second, but let me just say this. Why do journalists typically only ask bullshit questions? There was a point where, like Mike Cernovich walked into the press room at the White House and then yelled something about, I think it was like Antifa or something. The point is, journalists don't want to ask questions they think will get them banned. So what happens is, these journalists are like, wow, I have White House press credentials. I better not piss off the White House, otherwise they'll take my credentials away. In some instances, if a journalist loses their press credentials, they'll be fired. So here's what we have. Here's how I view all of this. It's like a dog and pony show. The journalists are going to go in, and they're going to ask the questions they have to ask. Oh, what's going on with Michael Cohen? Yeah, because the tapes got released. You got to ask it. And the president's going to say, we're looking at the tapes, and we think that they're, whatever bullshit statement. We're not actually going to know what's going on. This, to me, this annoys me more than anything else in journalism. I guess technically it has to exist because what you wouldn't ask the president or the spokesperson any questions at all, the press secretary, whatever. But you think you're going to actually learn what happened with the Cohen tapes by asking the White House about it? Of course not. And do you think any of these journalists are going to go in there and do actual investigative reporting and challenge the president on actual questions? No, of course not. Why do you think we only ever hear about the same bullshit? It's like, oh, Cohen and Russia. Yeah, because that's dominating the news cycle. So the journalists are going to get their sound bites about the news cycle, and that's about it. Look, there are good journalists, they exist, and sometimes these people will ask good questions, and there will be challenges here. And sometimes the White House is caught in contradictory statements and things like that, so yeah, there's a point to it. But if we want to learn about what's actually going on in anything, and again, I'm not trying to single out the White House here, I'm talking about all matters of public record, like public officials, a celebrity, local politicians. It's always some cockamamie bullshit where they're trying to mitigate the damage and make themselves look good. Nobody tells the truth, all right? And obviously I don't mean nobody, I'm just being hyperbolic. Most people are gonna give you their canned PR statement, so I don't know why everyone's so obsessed with this stupid nonsense. What this story actually is, it's more about Collins, who was playing ball and asking her questions, Michael Cohen, Vladimir Putin, yeah, things everyone already knows about, give us a statement about it, and then she got banned. Shows a heavy hand on the side of the Trump administration. But maybe this is just a reminder to the White House press corps that you will be booted at a moment's notice. I assure you there are a lot of journalists who are sitting there thinking like, oh man, I better make sure I ask lighter questions. I don't want to get my press credentials revoked. I don't want to be banned from a press conference. Ooh, that could cost me my job, or some other nonsense. Access journalism, where they don't actually challenge. Sometimes they do, but like I said, it's a dog and pony show. It's all just, they'll give some pushback, but I assure you a lot of these journalists are probably thinking something about what's actually going on, and you're going to get a canned response from the PR people. It's a time of universal deceit, I suppose. Just because the White House is uncomfortable with a question regarding the news of the day doesn't mean the question isn't relevant and shouldn't be asked, CNN Collins Network said in a statement. This decision to bar a member of the press is retaliatory in nature and not indicative of an open and free press. We demand better. I mean, I don't feel like these are particularly profound questions that were asked. What is it? Are you worried about what Michael Cohen is about to say to prosecutors? He's going to say no. What do you think the president's going to say? I get it. You got to ask him just because we can make assumptions about what we think he's going to say. Are you worried? What's on the other tapes? No. Why has Vladimir Putin not accepted your invitation? I don't know. Ask Vladimir Putin. That's like these. I mean, I'll say this. I have no idea why the White House would ban someone over questions like this. It seems rather silly. But I also don't understand why somebody... No, okay, I understand why they'd ask them. Like I said, they have to, because that's the news cycle. But what do you think they're going to say? Are you concerned about Cohen? No. Is that it? In a statement, Sanders said, the White House supports a free press. At the conclusion of a press event in the Oval Office, a reporter shouted questions and refused to leave, despite repeatedly being asked to do so. Hey, there we go. Some gumption. She said, subsequently, our staff informed her she was not welcome to participate in the next event, but made clear that any other journalist from her network could attend. So, it actually sounds, from the perspective of the White House, this is a reporter demanding, an answer from the president, and actually makes Collins sound pretty good. Like, hey, you should totally do that. So it's actually kind of funny because Collins is like, oh, just asking questions, it's no big deal, it seemed normal, and the White House is actually making her look good, like she's demanding an answer. But they booted her out. The White House Correspondents Association also condemned the decision to bar Collins from the press conference as wholly inappropriate, wrong-headed, and weak. And I agree, because I don't think her questions were strong enough to actually get to the truth of anything. We all know that Michael Cohen released the tape. We all know Putin said no. Do we need him to say, a sentence about it? Or do we need someone to actually do some digging about what Putin's people are saying and then ask a specific question about something Putin has done other than, why hasn't he accepted your invitation? I don't know. Are we psychic? You expect the president to be... Reporters asking questions of powerful government officials, up to and including the president, helps hold those people accountable. The White House Correspondents Association's president, Olivier Knox, said in a statement. I don't believe that for one goddamn second. This is bullshit. It's all bullshit. You'll see a celebrity do something dumb and they'll put out some dumb statement. There was that guy, that Georgia, I think it was a Georgia state lawmaker, who was busted because of, he was made to look like an idiot on Sacha Baron Cohen's show about the Israeli guy. And he said something about how, I have a paralyzing fear of death threats, so I agreed to engage in this training. And like I said, yeah, there's your iota of truth. I'm sure he was really like, oh yeah, I am worried about death threats, I should do this training. But I mean, come on, man, to go on a show and he didn't think it was gonna be on a show, but to do that kind of stuff, I feel like his statement was an attempt to mitigate the PR damage, because people are probably wondering why the hell you'd pull your pants down and yell the N-word while backing up to a guy. You're gonna trust. You're very trusting. There's like a funny thing about trust. People do that joke or a gag with your dog where they'll pretend to throw the ball and the dog will run and then stop, and you're like, people laugh and go, "Ha, the dog's so dumb." It's like, no, dude. When the dog runs after the ball you didn't throw, it's not because the dog is stupid. It's because the dog trusts you, and all you're doing is betraying the trust. He's like, okay, he's gonna throw the ball, so I believe he'll do it. In that instance with that guy, he trusted the wrong person. But the point I'm trying to make is that he gives this statement about his, death threats and all that stuff, and I'm sure he does face those threats. He's a public lawmaker engaging in controversial actions. But to me, it always just feels like it's going to be an exaggeration or a garbage PR statement. I've given statements to the press before for corporate stuff, and in the couple instances I've done, it's like there is a line you can't cross. You have to always be positive. You have to have a fake smile on your face. You'll notice that all these YouTubers, they're always having a good time. I can't remember who made a video about it. I think tons of people have made a video about it where they say, everyone's always pretending to be happy. Yep. Everyone's always pretending. Everything's fake. And then what happens is as soon as the camera turns off, everyone starts talking about how they actually feel. We're living in this plastic world where everyone's pretending. And that's what's really, really fascinating, is that I feel like so much of our current politics is a facade. And behind it, you've got racists on every side, you've got sexists, you've got crazy, motherfuckers. How many far lefty feminist allies, male feminist allies, turned out to be abusers, And yes, there are a lot of people on the right who claim they aren't racist, and yes, they are racist behind the scenes, and they're trying to deny it and stuff. So, you can't go out there and just accuse an individual person of being an abuser or being a racist, but they exist. It really does happen. And I feel like this hubbub over this person being banned is just another part of the stupid facade that is the fake world we live in. Everybody's lying. We're not going to find the truth. I really doubt these well-paid White House correspondents will actually ask a question that could risk their jobs. Of course they won't. Because a good journalist, to some degree, is going to be a conspiracy theorist. And not only do they not want to embarrass themselves in front of their friends and colleagues and risk their careers, they don't want to get their press access revoked. Access journalism. Welcome to the party. All right, stick around. I've got maybe one or two more videos. We'll see what happens.